Does the shell have a name?
No, but I wish that she did. She was from our first broadcast.
She could be Shelly.
Shelly, that's cute.
Might be a little too on the nose.
Sorry, that's a bit too on the nose.
Yeah.
It's funny because we had a podcaster on here who is doing like an episode of her like horror podcast. She's like her name is Parker Halliday, and she does this podcast called Silver Screen Queens. And I wanted to get like a fun mic, and she just did an episode where she talked about like mermaids in movies and like the female like kind of representation through that. That would have been really cool, but I just ran.
Perfect.
I know, so I just wanted something that acted like Mike.
We are live, by the way.
Oh. Hi.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is really fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. Like, glad to support the arts in which ways. So, yeah, can you please just, like, introduce yourselves? Because I don't really know who you are.
Okay, I'm Abby.
I'm Bea.
Abby, Bea.
And we both work on this. We call it a community journal.
Okay.
It's like kind of a magazine, kind of a literary magazine, but it's not that literary. It has like diary entries. We have a whole section called journal. That's kind of personal writing.
Oh.
Poetry. They're like recipes, how-tos.
Maps. But the unifying factor that ties them all together is that everything in here is inspired by a place within the Charles River watershed. So when you look at the table of contents, each piece ties back to like a specific place on the map.
Cool.
Yeah.
Somerville.
That's who we are.
And
Wow.
every one of our submitters is one of our neighbors. We've had high school students, we've had poet laureates.
Cool, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride.
Yeah.
And I joined Abby just this January, and I say like getting to read the submissions from people I know, people I don't know, people from places in my community that I haven't heard of or haven't been to yet. It's just such a privilege to know that I come from somewhere, like I call home a place where people have so much to say and so many different things to say too. Yeah, it's cool.
How long has this existed?
So we're on year, I think we're just finishing up year 2.
Sweet.
It
Okay.
feels longer because this is the 6th issue, but it feels like the second real one. Like issues 1 through 4 were like trial issues.
But Abby was doing it by herself
Yeah.
for a while too, though. She like
Okay.
started all of this. And
Nice.
this is her baby.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Well, so my the problem I was solving for is I think one, we don't know our neighbors.
Yeah.
That's why we wanted to pair up with you guys.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's
We
a
have the
sign
same
on the
tagline.
door that says "Know your neighbors."
Yeah.
And I just moved, so it was kind of a
Yeah.
self-serving project.
Mhm.
But I just think like people's sense of place has really eroded over time. Like obviously we're more online than ever before. We're more disconnected from where we live because we're also more mobile than ever before. Like there's a stat that the average American moves 11 times in their life, and that's average.
That's fair.
Um,
I've moved a lot.
Me too. I've moved like every year of my adult life.
Damn, yeah.
And then also there's like this idea of monoculture that's infiltrating places so that no matter where you go, it starts to feel the same. Like I remember driving through Barcelona a year ago down the main street and being like, I could be in San Francisco or New York or Boston. And this idea of like preserving cultural specificity. So connecting each other to place, to your neighbors.
And then the word that Abby uses is hyperlocal.
Yeah.
It's cool. And also like, it's a print-only issue, and that's very intentional. And it is to ground and to hold. And it's been a fun adventure getting to pass it by hand to different places like this space, or like we drop it in coffee shops or public places, or you can buy it at your local bookshop and stuff. But yeah, it's small and it goes everywhere, which is cool.
Yeah, that's a good point that you can only access it, and that's something that we've struggled with, like how much, if any, of an online presence should we have, because so much of the thesis behind it is around being embodied. So we've kind of decided to just be, I mean, this is as online as we've ever been.
And honestly, I feel the same way, like, because I feel like we have a similar like thread of like we just want to be like here, you know what I mean? And so like I don't know, having like live casts and broadcasts and stuff is it feels sometimes like as an antithesis, but I don't know. It's also kind of like how do we like continue this kind of like the coffee conversation like beyond just like actually doing it. So it's like I don't know, like just trying to use like platform in multiple ways because that's what I would rather is like if people are already like at their coffee shops talking with neighbors or talking with people, don't watch this broadcast. Like, it's like,
Right.
perfect because like that's great. So that's like goal and mission. So yeah, no, I'm so glad that like someone else is like echoing like what I've been like feeling as well. Like it's just like let's just be here, guys. Like things that are like local is it's kind of fun and like just like knowing neighbor and stuff is like super important. Like if you know your downstairs neighbor, it's like you can go get a cup of sugar type of energy. Like that's kind of yeah.
Totally.
I love this. I love printed material.
Yeah.
You guys just had like a zine exchange,
Yeah,
right?
we
Yeah.
did,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
it was cute.
Yeah, we had someone come in. They're like from Western Mass, who we should like share you with their stuff. But like they have like a magazine called Piss and Vinegar, and it's like a food like blog. It's actually
It's actually really
good.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
He's from Western Mass too, so.
Yeah.
But this is awesome. Like, I'm one of those people that I'm never gonna get a Kindle. Like, I just can't look at
Yeah.
another screen. Like, and I like having books. I like keeping them too, because it kind of becomes like a physical like art piece in even your home. But this is beautiful. But like, I feel like it's so cool. Are all of the submissions from like people who live locally? Obviously.
Yeah, because they have to. I mean, like we have kind of unclear parameters around what counts as place-based or inspired by here, but I feel like when you see it, you know. It can't just be like set here.
Yeah.
It has to be about here. So the one that you were just looking at was Claire Cheney, who heard us on WBUR and then wanted to write about spices and wrote about how flavors have traveled into and out of Boston.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And she
So-
did like a physical. This is beautiful.
Yes. And for people on the broadcast, there's like a physical map that she watercolored of neighborhoods around Boston and her vision of flavors, which was amazing. And then became this cool partnership.
It turned into a writing workshop that she hosted in her space in her store. And then we also got to make our own spices with her.
Cute.
And she's like obviously like an expert at her craft. And she taught us everything about notes and flavors and also just like intentionality. It was so cool. Like also like things like flavors just like to sit and to ground you, to think about where you are, think about to differentiate your senses between your smell and your taste. It was just like so present. It was very cool. And we actually got a group of like 8 women that we've never met before. And everyone was so keen to write and share. And obviously like food, flavors, tie people to place so heavily. Yeah.
There was like this through line of home with people talking about the spices they grew up with and then that they enjoy today. And we were talking about, Claire explained it much better than I am able to, but there's like a part in your brain that is activated when you smell things that's really close to memory that it doesn't activate with other senses the way that it does with smell and with taste.
Yeah,
So
I think one of our, like, we have like a little deli ticket, but it's got journal prompts and stuff on it. I think one of them is like, what does home smell like? Like, it's like
that was
literally...
one of our writing
Oh my gosh, cool, yeah. I'm glad that we were on the same brain cell. I don't know, like...
We are.
That's so cool.
Okay, so then today we were like, let's gather some people to kind of do an amended version of what we've been doing. So with each issue, we have something called the Neighborhood Salon that's inspired by these 18th century literary salons where people would come and you didn't exclusively have to be a writer. You could be like an artist or a philosopher.
I have heard of these, yes.
You would like be in somebody's house and talk about a theme. So we've tried to recreate like a contemporary version of that with the launch of each issue, and we bring in local food and we have people telling local stories, and this feels like a mini neighborhood salon in a sense. So we have 4 people who are gonna read today.
Sweet. Oh my gosh, and I do love a salon.
I mean,
cool. Do we want to get that started?
Yeah, I'll
Do it.
introduce. We have Jason Firing and Karina Owana. If y'all want to come out.
Come on in.
Yeah.
okay, so while Jason and Karina are sitting down, I'll just explain that they both wrote for separate issues about planting illegally illegal plantings. So then we needed to get them two together.
Yes.
And maybe describe, like, well, we've also asked people to bring in a show and tell object. So maybe we can start with the show and tell object as an icebreaker.
Or if you guys want to introduce yourselves briefly as well.
Yeah. That would be nice.
I'm Jason Firing, and I was really happy to contribute to the Quinobequin review, a piece called The Public Weed Garden of Boston, and I guess we'll get into that a little bit.
And I'm Karina Wana. I found a flyer for the party of the spring-summer edition of the journal and went and was so blown away. I was like, oh, I hope they have more because I have some things to say. Yeah, and so I'm so glad that the piece was chosen and that I got to meet you guys.
Just,
Okay.
These are
Hold it up.
pictures from the issue. Maybe we'll put it back here
yes, that's gonna fall.
again.
Yeah.
We're so happy we got to meet you. And Karina read at the last
I did.
salon, which was
So
fun.
it's nice today I don't have to read because I stumble. English is not my first language, but I do not stumble in conversation. This is gonna be.
And for the record, you did not stumble reading.
Oh!
No, you did not. No.
I did a little bit. My sister recorded it. I know I did.
In my memory, it's flawless.
Great.
So,
Folks need to know that she made people tear up in the
Yes.
audience.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest, yeah.
yeah.
That is cute.
Do you each want to talk a little bit about the gardens that you wrote about and why you started them? What inspired you to start them?
Go first.
Sure. So my piece was maybe a ungarden, so I didn't plant or tend anything. It was just a little city patch, a tree bed that you see everywhere, and it happened to be one that was neglected and lots of weeds had grown up. And my project was just to place little name, ID plaques like you would see in a botanical garden, to identify everything that was growing there. And there were about 12 or 13 different weeds. And I don't even know still who owns that little plot. It was just in my neighborhood in Fort Point in Boston. And it survived until the weed whack crew came and took everything away a month or so later. So motivation, I'm a visual artist really, more than a writer for sure, and I've been working on projects about weeds for the past couple of years, starting with my own studio, which has this, it was just like a gravel parking lot that no one had ever planted anything in maybe 50 years, and just, mowed it and put gravel down. And so when I started letting everything grow, now I've found 100 different kinds of things growing there. And I'm learning all about just what they do, by themselves. And it's all really fascinating to me. I guess just a little deeper is, I think that awareness is the first step to anything, to change or without trying to say these weeds are good or bad or anything, just noticing it has been, I think it opens up so many different possibilities and angles on what's happening. And so it's just it was a way to kind of share the noticing I was doing when I walked down the street with whoever else is walking down the street.
Very cool.
Where is this lot? I want to see it.
It's on Summer Street in, just a few blocks from South Station, like east of South Station, but towards the convention center. So lots of foot traffic.
Very cool.
What do you think about people assigning moral qualities to plants? Like, what do you think about invasives?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge, interesting question, right? So I think it's all about context. Like, if you're a farmer trying to survive and, there's an invasive cutting your revenue, okay, like, you have to find some solution, whatever it is. But is just a pile of mulch actually nicer somehow than whatever wants to grow there? I'm not really convinced of that. So, it depends what the weeds are doing and where. And I mean, definitely there are situations where you want to control them and save the natural environment, but maybe not in our sidewalk cracks. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're very intimate with a pile of mulch.
Deeply. I, on my way to work every day, I walk past this triangle-shaped red mulch-covered earth and it's got 2 mature oak trees on it, and it just hurts to walk past it because it's so dry and like nothing's happening. And so I decided I was going to not let weeds grow in there because they are not growing, but actually nurture plants by moving them. And my friend Helen Snively does this plant swap twice a year, where people who have perennials that have outgrown their space will bring to trade. It's free. It's just gorgeous community building. And she's been doing this to different lots, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try. But the thing that I want to talk to you about, Jason, actually is like the soil underneath this red mulch is so dry, it's like dust, because the city has been piling salted snow. That's their like salt snow drop off in East Cambridge. Not a neighborhood that gets a lot of foot traffic maybe or something. I'm not sure how they get away with it. The weeds that are growing in this lot that you're talking about, do you see like the dirt changing with their growth at all?
Well, a lot of the weeds are salt tolerant, and you'll even see on the highway the ones that are right by the margin versus the ones that are farther away.
Yeah.
It's because they're salt tolerant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my own studio, I found a lot of the weeds seem to improve in that lot. Like they, you know, up to a point, because it was all just this gravel and stuff, and they, you know, when I plant things where there was a lot of like Japanese knotweed, which is this really terrible thing if anybody knows what it is.
Edible though.
Really, yeah, like terrible, very aggressive. But
Someone wrote something on Japanese knotweed.
Yeah.
but that things grow great where the knotweed was, because it has really turned over that underground.
Yeah. I want to plant at the Gigi, we call it guerrilla gardening. I want to plant goldenrod, because the ones that grow just like you said along the highways, and if you're even just in Cambridge, if you're looking on the sides of the roads, Store Drive and Memorial Drive and all of them, the goldenrods just grow. You can't, once they're in, you can't take them out. So it's gonna be my next this spring. Oh, because to tie it back to what you were saying, your garden that got weed whacked. Guess what? My garden got weed whacked too.
Oh.
And it's not just the grass and the the little things that are growing into the cracks. It's like the irises and the violets and the asters and the But now we're growing in medallions, so like we're actually keeping things really tight together and digging moats around them, so that there's more of a sense of
But
purpose.
This is unofficial. You're just hoping that the
Unofficial.
groundskeepers will notice and leave
I
it
mean,
alone.
I'm waiting for the winter to come. We'll see. I'm sure. I actually, I harvested bricks, placed them around the medallions, like in specific spaces, and wrote "save," because I was like, what can you write that's big enough, that's significant enough, that's, so the word "save" on a brick seems like the right thing to do. And then the bricks started leaving. Like, I saw them in neighbors' yards and stuff like that, which is great, because that's what you want to do, right? You want to beautify the neighborhood. It was great.
Can we talk a little bit about the concept of guerrilla gardening? Like, it's kind of an amazing phrase. What does it mean to you?
I don't, I mean, I had, when I first came to America, one of my first few friends I made did guerrilla marketing. And so listening to him and what he was doing and the projects he was getting into, at first, when I first got here, I was so confused. I was like, why do you need to do that? There's marketing everywhere. Like, why would you do it this way? But the more time passed, the more I was like, oh, there's like a subversive action that happens. And it all works out well in the end. They get paid, the product gets marketed, great. So that's what that feels like to me. It's like, I don't know how a city like Cambridge would decide to put one part of that intersection has this beautiful green grass with newly planted trees, and this triangle has red mulch that gets dumped every spring, except for this past spring. We managed to stop it, so we'll see.
I want to get inside your minds and understand, like, okay, I'm imagining someone, not me, someone who's listening to this and is like, this is a Sisyphusian task. Like, why are you guys planting and nurturing life somewhere that you know it's going to get weed whacked or it's going to get dumped with snow?
Also, is this technically illegal?
I don't think
In my
what
case?
you did is illegal.
I
'cause
mean,
you
it's
just-
somebody's property. They're responsible for that street bed, that little tree bed, whoever owns. And so is it illegal to put something on their property? Probably not. I don't know.
And for me, I mean, bringing compost to a dead lot and putting how could that be illegal? I'm not asking anybody to give us water, which would be amazing, City of Cambridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Who makes the rules anyways?
I feel like part of it is just assigning worth to space. Like, I just interviewed people who started, do you know about the Leland Street Community Garden in Forest Hills? It's in Jamaica Plain. And there was this area called the Lots that was like literally a dump. And there were a bunch of old cars, old refrigerators, and it was dangerous. Like, there were people there selling drugs at night. So the neighbors started cleaning it up in the 80s. And it was like city-owned land, but because they weren't doing anything with it, they allowed them to clean it up. And then they ended up getting like major grants from the city. And then they became like a Boston Food Forest Coalition property. So it's just been like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like building and building. And with each step, it's become more and more legitimized, like in the eyes of the city and the greater public. But I think it's such a good, like, guerrilla gardening success story.
Yes.
Because now it visibly registers and reads as a garden, so it is treated as such.
Yeah, I think that's the key, right? It's, you know, what I was saying before about noticing, like, people sort of take for granted what is. And then if somebody comes along and suggests maybe there could be a garden here, sometimes the city will catch on and agree, or the neighborhood will, or somebody will. And it just you need to start that idea.
And the reason why I love this as a concept for desire lines, like this issue is themed desire lines, which are those paths that emerge that nobody planned, that just you see them like along the sidewalk as a separate path or crossing through a park the short way. But like enough people took initiative to say, I want it this way actually. And that's what I love about your projects, because you're like claiming this space and saying it's not working this way or it's not providing value in this way. And you don't need to ask permission, you just do it.
Yeah.
Which I find like hopefully to be a metaphor.
Were you scared at first?
Never. Because like, what are you going? I'm here with a shovel and a plant and a bucket of compost. Like,
Who
the
could
worst that
complain?
can happen is for you to pull it out
Yeah.
and put it in your own garden, which is great for me. Like, okay.
It's funny. I noticed I was really nervous when I kind of did it at night, and if somebody gets a bit mad at me for sticking these little plaques in the ground. I don't know why, but
I did have somebody walk by.
it's like I'm trespassing in some way, I guess.
I
you
did
know?
have somebody walk by with their dog, and she was like, "So what are you doing? Are you turning this into a garden? And dogs are not allowed?" And I was like, "I am turning it into a garden, and dogs are welcome. Like, I don't. They don't have to be exclusive. I don't. That was so confusing to me. I was like, I'm so happy a dog is here. You know. Yeah. No.
I'm realizing we never
There's
got to the
items,
objects. So maybe we'll do the objects and then we'll introduce our next reader. But you both brought things.
I actually brought two things because I
Ooh.
wasn't sure what my vibes were gonna be like. And the one that I really want to talk about is what we did at the last salon. So there were readings at the salon, and then after every reading, you had a prompt for people, and some of them were really deep. And I'm not gonna read the deepest one. I'm gonna
Some
leave
of
that.
them
We
were
brought it, we
like
brought it.
therapy
I
prompts.
brought it, but they were like intense. But the one that I want to talk about is you wanted people to use one word for their inner landscape and one word for their outer landscape. And in my case, the inner and the outer actually merged right there in this, on this little note. You know, I thought that the inner landscape is curiosity, like I'm always interested, like what's going on, how am I feeling, how am I doing physically too as I'm aging. And then on the outer landscape is the weather, and then the two of them combined, because I'm curious about the external weather, but I'm also curious about my own internal weather. And so I'm really grateful that this prompt led to, like, you know, curiosity about external and internal weather. So thank you for not only putting together these amazing collections and events, but also like continuing to push us to explore and experiment.
I love the word weather. Your internal.
Do they interact? Does your internal weather affect the external weather?
The external affects the internal.
That would be amazing.
If I could spread sunshine when I feel great, wouldn't that be amazing?
I think you do that and you don't know it.
Oh,
I think you do, but you don't know it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. What about yours? What did you bring?
So this is a sea pod. It's so in my neighborhood. There's a new spot that I really love. That's soon going to be the next seaport high-rise, but kind of wedged between the previous development and this parking lot. Between a couple fences, there's this. It's almost a bush. It's called Jimsonweed or datura. So it's a known, you know, not super common, but you see them around. Plant that originated in the southwest, most likely of North America, and it's a powerful neurotoxin / hallucinogen, and has a huge history as a ceremonial drug in a lot of indigenous cultures in North America. It was used for like initiation ceremonies and things.
Whoa.
And so there's a ton of lore. They're beautiful rock paintings and pottery depicting this, because it was such an important cultural, you know, element to these cultures. And I just think it's kind of, you know, I don't know, it struck me the irony that it's jammed in this corner between some fences, and hardly anybody I think knows that it's there. It's just, you know, you start looking and you see them. There's this big beautiful one growing, gorgeous flowers. So that's what I brought as another thing to notice while walking around the city.
I love that. When I first started this, I anticipated there to be some sort of ecological bent, and I was thinking a lot about like what are the native plants that are indigenous to this area, and I think it's really cool that over time, like we've gotten more submissions about plant ecology that's actually non-native, and there's just this thread of this place and how people and things have traveled through it over time, and it fits well with the spice piece, and I think it challenges this like puritanical notion of what actually belongs in a place.
Like, right. I mean, this is native to the Southwest. Most people believe it was transported because of its medicinal uses, like intentionally brought. Gradually its range grew up into North America. You know, so is that invasive or not?
Yeah. That's just hiding in plain sight. Like, are you ever tempted to eat it, or would you?
It sounds really dangerous. It's like,
you know, it looks very dangerous.
No one.
It looks very
it's
resilient.
It looks
very
like
fierce.
the thing from Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean, you have.
Notice how I was holding it by the branch, not the.
It does. It's like terrifying.
And then you said there were gorgeous flowers on it, right?
Yes.
What do they look
big,
like?
Like big, beautiful trumpet shaped with this sort of spiral twist to them, purple and white. There's a George O'Keeffe painting of one. I mean, I don't, you know, I'm not, I'm open to experimenting, but everything I've read, it's like you really have to know what you're doing if you want to play with this plant. If you
No
wanna
one
eat it.
needs it.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we're doing here.
Find you know your indigenous guru to show you how to do it.
Well, thank you both so much.
Thank you more.
This
This
was
was
lovely
fun.
to
This was
hear
good.
a little more behind
Thank
the
you.
stories.
So much fun. And thanks to the Nightcap Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. This space is amazing.
So next up we have Amara Sorosiak. And we have Sydney joining us a bit later, I think. Hey, Amara.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here and for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Do you have an object, or is this your object?
No, I do. It's hidden here.
Ooh.
I have a Charlie card.
Nice.
It's a bit of a cliche choice, but I promise my story behind it is a little bit more interesting. So I went to college in rural Maryland, a college of like 800 people. It was just like surrounded by like soybean fields and cornfields and stuff. And the only way that you could like really connect with the outside world was if you had a car, if you knew someone and could correspond with them, like who had a car. But regardless, I still kept this in my wallet through my 4 years. And it was just kind of like a reminder, like just something to kind of keep close to me that like, you know, I would return up north to like people that I had been like missing. And just like a reminder that I would be able to return to them one day, because it was probably the most isolated and depressive I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
So
That was 4 years?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, undergrad. So so I think it was the same Charlie card, which is kind of crazy that I kept it.
I love that.
Yeah,
Do you stay true to it now that you can do tap to pay?
yeah, I do. Yeah, I have a special reduced fare card. So
There's something very witchy about that in a good way. Like it's an object that's bringing you back to the place. It's like a little
I know.
spell.
It's
I
like
know.
when
It's
men
like
used to
the,
go to war and they had
like
the
the-
picture of the
Like, I
girlfriend
will
in their
come back
wallet.
for you.
know, those are-
or like Wizard of Oz, the red shoes.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so did you grow up here?
I grew up in Connecticut,
Okay.
but I moved here in 2024. So I've been in New England my entire life.
And why do you stay?
For those people that I mentioned, lots of my friends, and just like being able to build new connections. That's kind of why I brought this. Another part of why I chose this is just like this is kind of like my key to the city and beyond, and just like being able to like forge new connections with people and like new places such as the model, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Thanks for sharing, Amara. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking we could do it like New Yorker fiction podcast style, where we have you read it first, and then we could ask you questions.
Sure.
about
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll be reading from the second half of it. All right. Kenny has been at the model. Well, I should read the title. The Model Cafe, etching out queer space in Alston. All right. Kenny has been at the model for 3 years, but was a proper Alston rat in his youth, bouncing between the model, the Silhouette Lounge, and some since defunct bars. He saw the untapped potential of the bar's dance floor / entertainment space, and when he initiated plans for the Model Bazaar, he prioritized art vendors from marginalized and alternative communities to match the bar's historic punk roots. Kenny remembers what the bar has meant to the queer community over time, drawing iconic community names like Rita Hester. He is among the many who adored her. I was very young when I knew Rita. We were a bunch of punk kids, and Boston wasn't as accepting at the time. It still isn't great, but we didn't tolerate racism, sexism. Rita was the first transgender person we knew. We'd be together at the model and the Silhouette, and she'd take us to the gay bars. Those not familiar with Rita's legacy may know her likeness, muraled on Cambridge Street by local street artist Rixie. Or they've observed Transgender Day of Remembrance, created in her honor in 1999 after her murder a year prior. Angle your head just right from the far end of the bar, and you'll catch Rita's painted gaze, robed in her furs, pearls, and cheetah print, through the model's windows. She's always watching us. We have to make sure we do her proud, Kenny says between glances out the window. The bar soon grows too loud to make out Kenny's words verbatim. Bossy Boots has begun giving the audience a taste of her first number, live vocals to Kelly Clarkson's Since You've Been Gone, as a mic and sound check. The audience sings along. I'm divided between the two rooms, anticipating which will break first, my conversation with Kenny or the sound check, but neither do. Instead, I feel them ebbing and flowing together. In one room, I'm learning about Alston's queer history, and in the other, I'm experiencing it. It can be observed through the framed family photos near the bar, band stickers smattered on toilet seats, graffiti conversations on the trash cans, and even the residue from a recent spill. The model is a home for the communities that poked their head in and carved out opportunities for themselves. It's as Splash Zone co-producer Miss Jade Rock puts it, the community is the through line.
The model is a dive bar, a punk bar, a blue collar bar, and a queer bar all at once, not evolving but building with the times. And so long as the community insists, Alston will keep taking a marker to it.
How did you find it? I want to know like the first time you went there.
So I do know the person who runs Splash Zone, Brooke Poole. We're very good friends. So I was actually there from observed the whole like process of her, you know, like going to the bar for the first time, being like, I want to host the space or this event here, and just like the first show and everything. So yeah, I think the first time I ever set foot in the model was with that host. So
Cool.
Can you tell us what Splash Zone is?
oh, so
Yeah.
it's like you'll read about it in the issue, but it's a open stage drag set show. Anyone and everyone can like come and perform. So it's just like and it's in like a little like adjunct room like in the bar. So you walk in, you get your drink, go see some drag. So
Very cool.
I'm curious about like when you heard the prompt desire lines, why you chose to write about the model. I think it's like some things emerge when you read through it, but how you see it fitting.
yeah, I think just from like a visual standpoint, I think like kind of what I was describing at the end there, you're just seeing like all of this like history like kind of like caked up onto like you know like the bathrooms and everything and like the graffiti, just like seeing like how much like the history has manifested itself like in that space and like what directions like the model has like allowed like the community to like take it in. So I know just like starting out as like, you know, like factory workers coming in and like, you know, getting a drink, getting food and stuff, to like, you know, the queer community just kind of finding a space there. I think it's just kind of like incredible, like, you know, I don't know, just like artifact almost like of like Alston, just like its history.
I also found this piece to be very important because something that I really like about the queue, something that drew me into the queue, was that it showed a very lively and growing art presence in a city like Boston, which I don't think a lot of people will think of first, like in the US as like a major art city. And I also don't think people will always be like, oh yeah, Boston's a super queer city. So it's always super easy to kind of just like push that aside. But this just shows that there are spaces in the city, and there's also like a history as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have to be perfect and designated spaces. Like, I like how it already had its thing, and then it was open to evolving based on the needs of people coming and asking for what they wanted.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any other like good Boston recs?
I'm not sure. I mean, like, I don't know, I kind of, like, really think just the model, like, I mean, there's also the silhouette, like, across the street, if you were going for, like, the dive bar vibe, where else? I don't know, like, I think, like, since, like, Splash Zone has, like, kind of come into the model, like, in that space, like, there's kind of just been, like, drag shows, you know, just kind of cropping up everywhere across the city, and I'm blanking on them now, but...
Yeah, I've been to a place in downtown. I forgot what the name was. Is anyone?
The Alley? Legacy?
No, but all great recs. There we go.
There is
Alley, Legacy.
There
Alley,
is
Legacy.
Jocks. Jocks is like...
Oh, it's Jocks.
That's
It was
like,
Jocks.
that's like the
It was
Stonewall
Jocks.
of Boston.
It was Jocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I have questions about nightlife in general, but do we have time?
Yeah, we have a few minutes.
Do you guys want to come back on and talk a little
sure.
bit about like nightlife
I was also thinking about-
in
yeah.
Boston? Because this
Sure.
feels very relevant.
You guys all come back.
Oh my god. I met Brooke Poole at Satellite down the street. They have like there's like an event that's like another spot too. They do like gay queer events like all the time. Like Tara Dickoff plays there. Like there's just like a bunch of shit there.
Sunset Cantina has
Yeah.
become
Feral.
that's like kind of become like the hub of like queer nightlife. Like the best like queer parties that I've been to in Boston have happened in a Mexican restaurant. Like
Nice.
it's just not too far from
That's on the
Dallas.
Green Line, right?
Yeah.
Near
yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, across from I think Amory Street, yeah.
Nice.
why do you guys think that Boston has a reputation for having zero nightlife, and do you think it's true?
It's the best kept secret.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think if I've lived in a couple different places, and this is the only one that's had like such a vast like pool of colleges, and I feel like people or universities or schools in particular. So I feel like it's just so transient that like I don't know, not enough people stick around and like dig in and like make spaces like the model and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I think I've kind of noticed like a lot of people come here to work. They move here for a job. That's kind of why we have like, you know, like sweet greens and stuff everywhere. That's like our food scene, you know. Yeah, and so I think that kind of like it reflects in like the culture as well. Like a lot of people, you know, I don't know, like it's like very culturally conservative. Like, you know, like I have to like stay on my task of like, you know, going to work every week, you know. So it's like I think like Boston does have an art scene. You just have to find it. Like, you know, like I'm pointing to the Q for a reason. Like I found this by chance in like a Newtonville Books in Newton, and just like I kind of that's kind of also like why I stay. It's just like I don't know, just for like to find stuff like this.
And it's worth investing in. It's an art community, and it's just a community that's worth investing in.
I kind of like the thrill of the hunt, you know.
Yeah.
I'm actually from here. Like I'm from Massachusetts, and I definitely think that I was raised in a way where, like, I don't know, because education is so prevalent here, like, I had a lot of access to the arts, and, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I've always found Boston to be a creative place for me, and I would say our food scene is, like, also have to know where to go, but,
It's different, too, because I feel like sometimes I feel like, I mean, Boston in particular, because, like, we're technically in Somerville right now, and Somerville is, like, chill as fuck.
yeah,
Somerville is different, yeah.
different.
But I mean, we even kind of got like this project start in like City Hall last year. So like there was like a lot of like kind of rules and regulations in which to go through. So like I think there's just a lot of like semi-conservative things that maybe have just stemmed from like a past where, you know, like alcohol sales, number of licenses, like those are all like rules. Obviously there was some type of logic to set them in place, but like the times have kind of are evolving, and so I think that's also kind of a contributor, because like even when I say where I live, I usually say Boston, but like I live in Somerville. Like I often don't cross the river. Like, you know what I mean? I need to more because I used to go to the model and live over there, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like that has like an impact, and I will say that they're definitely trying. Like, I mean, I've only been here for like 8 years, and the longer I've been here,
I felt that way.
everyone's like, you're a solid and true, whatever. You know. But yeah, I feel like they're definitely trying, and like there's a lot of like new art kind of things that are like evolving and happening, like at least in the Boston kind of political scene. So
Definitely, and I think that like things do close earlier here, but I feel like I found if you know where to go, then like I don't know, you kind of meet like-minded people.
yeah.
Do you guys have good recs for places that feel like they have a soul and are fun?
Oh my god, that's a great question.
There is a party that happens in Dorchester in Hyde Park.
Yeah, okay, sis.
At a Latin-owned brewery. They have amazing food. It's called Joy. They are also the people that do free dance parties on Magazine Beach in Cambridge in the summer, and then Malibu Beach in Dorchester. So there is a history of serious, committed, you know, nightlife in Boston. You just have to find it. You can't say it's not here. You just gotta keep trying and keep looking.
If you say that, you're lazy. Try a little harder. I don't know.
Like you just don't. Like you just want to come and reap the benefits, but you're not willing to
Commit.
Meet people and like build a community.
work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
I do find that in Boston, so the only other city I've lived in as an adult is San Francisco, and I feel like there are so many subcultures like visible at the surface level that the community attached to them is actually like less deep than I found in Boston. Like when I moved here,
That's fascinating.
I remember being like, I don't like it here. Like I would be driving down the highway and I would like sing in my car like, I think I hate it here. And I just felt like so distraught. And then I realized that like the creative community here is so much more invested in themselves and each other than the one that I encountered in San Francisco, almost because it's more rare and because you have to dig for it. Like when you do show up, people are there for you.
And I feel like, I mean, we're even kind of sitting proof of that, like just Beaumarchais in particular, just because like they've developed such like a really close knit community. But I mean, I would consider everyone that lives in or has a business here like an artist of some kind.
Yeah.
Like the food folks downstairs, like you can get stuff like the types of things that you want for home goods. Like that's kind of an artistry of some kind. Like there's someone's like, this is what I'm passionate about. I'm just gonna try it and hope for the best. Like it's like, so I don't know. I feel like that's kind of, I'm very grateful to like be here. And like I don't know, be able to do stuff like that. I mean, I'm from like kind of the Midwest too, and like kind of going back to our conversation about like just art programming in particular, like there's not a ton of like programs for the arts in like in the Midwest. So like moving here, like just seeing like different types of like programs from City of Somerville, City of Boston, like specifically like for the arts is like really refreshing and wonderful. I mean, we got to talk to like the Mass Cultural Council and Somerville Cultural Council. Like those are like resources for artists so that like artists can live and work here.
Yep.
And like I think that's a really cool thing.
Also, like all the artists I've met, especially ones older than me, have only been resourceful and have been so willing to share and help and advise, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Which feels really refreshing. Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm like open to like trading notes and stuff. It's like, let's all just help each other. We're all trying to like we're all trying to do the same thing, babe. Like let's just keep it up.
Should we get Sydney?
Yeah,
up?
let's get
Because
Sydney up.
10
Thank
minutes
you guys.
left. Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Amara.
you so much. Thank you, Amara.
Oh, should I take my shoes off?
No, you're fine. Oh my gosh, you're fine. I was
Get
just
comfy however you like.
Should I sit there?
Yes. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
So glad you can make
Thanks
it.
for being here.
Yeah.
I'm glad this is the second time we get to hear you read aloud.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to duck out early last time. I was dealing with like a work emergency, which was terrible and boring. But I'm glad I could be here now.
Did you bring a thing?
I
An
did.
object?
I brought a thing. Yeah. I brought my iPod.
What generation?
No.
Yeah, iPod Classic, yes.
That was older than I thought it was gonna be.
Because I'm old as fuck, okay? Here's my iPod.
That's a compliment.
I actually did charge it, and it still works. So this is like, contains all of the music, like the soundtrack to me moving here. I moved here for college. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, so I moved here for college in 2010.
Oh my god, can you please give us just a few titles on there?
Oh my god, all right,
I'm
let's
so curious.
let's shuffle it, see what happens.
And is this what you primarily use for your music?
Not anymore.
No.
It's long transition
Okay.
to a bunch of things.
I love that because it's a time capsule.
It is a
of
time
point
capsule.
In time.
It's from like, I would say 2007 to like 2013. So my
Wow.
college years here, which is the reason I
Wow.
moved here. And I'm still here. So we've got Dickhead by Kate Nash as the first one, which is like so 2009 core. Rape Me Nirvana. That's from LimeWire. And Because, the Beatles, Abbey Road. Obviously, good album. Great
It was
album,
like
people say.
YouTube to MP3 era.
Yeah,
Did you ever do
basically,
that?
yeah. There's like no, album art on half of them because they're pirated. Yeah, but this was like my most prized possession when I moved here, and it like soundtracked a lot of my days. And I saw it sitting on my shelf, and I was like, I'm gonna bring my iPod. I was
That's so
thinking
sick.
about this prompt. Yeah.
What was your impression of this city compared to where you moved from? Where in Pennsylvania did you move from?
I'm from Allentown, which is technically a city, only technically. It's sort of near Philly in Pennsylvania. And, it's just like a typical suburb. And moving here for college, I'd never lived in a city before. And so being somewhere where I could really like have my own level of agency, where I didn't have a car when I was a kid, so it was really hard for me to get around. There's no transit in Allentown. There's no way to like bike anywhere or do anything like that. So like being on my own for the first time, being in Boston, I was like, wow, I can do anything.
I can go see a show. I can, like, you know, go see that weird movie that's, like, being released here that's not being released widely anywhere else. You know, like, the art scene is something that was really important to me. And also just the community, I think, you know, meeting people here is the reason that I stayed, right? Like, I decided community was, like, a cornerstone on which I wanted to base my life. And I found that community in Boston. A bunch of my friends decided to stay. A bunch also decided to leave after college. But a bunch decided to stay. And we are important to each other. We're a kind of family. And we're going to, you know, factor that into our life decisions, right? I think you can, like, of course you can move anywhere, right? Like, you could pick up and move anywhere tomorrow. And, like, I'm sure it would have better nightlife or better food or better this or better that. But, like, the people you meet count for a lot, and they're not so easily replaceable.
I wish that wasn't considered radical. 'Cause it's so weird to me because, like, people will do that in a heartbeat for parents or for significant others, but not for friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, why shouldn't we be basing where we set up our life on who we want to spend our life with?
100%. I was like, my friends, like, they are. Oh, see ya.
We as
yes.
painters.
Yeah. My friends are my family, right? Like, I didn't love my life growing up, and so being able to come here and form a community, that is my family. So we're all always like, you guys are gonna stay, right? Like, you can't leave without telling me, right? Because it matters. And you're right, it shouldn't be so radical. I think that people are just kind of, you know, afraid to put themselves out there and say, like, you know, hey, this relationship really matters to me, even if it's not a familial relationship, a blood relationship, or, you know, a romantic relationship. Doesn't mean that it can't matter just as much or more.
Now, have you stayed in the same area of Boston?
No.
Okay.
So I went to BU, so I lived in, like, Allston, Brookline, went to the Model and the Sill a lot. And then I lived in Cambridge for a little while in Central Square, and now I'm in Somerville, like Teal Square near Davis. So I've been in Somerville for about 4 years. Yeah, and I also don't cross the river that much.
What are your, and you'll notice I'm asking everyone this question because I did an Instagram poll and I was like, what do people want to hear? They were like, we don't want to hear about your magazine, but we do want to hear your recommendations for cool places to go and things to do.
Places to go.
So are you, like, a regular anywhere, or are there any places you love?
Okay, yes, I would say I'm becoming a regular at a couple of places.
Nice.
One, there's this new wine bar that just opened up in North Cambridge, very close to Davis Square in Somerville, on Mass Ave, called Zusammen. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It means together in German. And it's this sweet little wine bar. They serve all natural wines. It's the people who do the grocery store next to it called Mama's. That's like a little grocery store wine shop. Yeah.
Okay.
So they have this wine bar right next to it, and it's so cute. The vibes are right. They have a CD player, not quite an
Nice.
iPod, but similar vibes. And the lighting is amazing. They have all of this amazing wine, and they have musicians come in on Sundays. It's just like, it's a vibe.
Wow,
They're
I can't
very
wait
cool.
to go.
Yeah, you gotta go.
I love a wine bar.
Great. Yeah,
too.
yeah. And
Everyone
I
after
was
this. I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then the other one I would shout out is kind of weird. It's a furniture shop, but it's called Metamorphosis. It's in Davis Square, and my man Eddie there will, like, take old furniture and make it into whatever you want. So he kind of, like, takes old stuff and upcycles it, and will, like, customize it and, like, find weird home goods stuff. You know, like, this sort of tablecloth would be something that he would sell, or, like, he took an old vanity and broke it apart and painted it orange and made it into nightstands for me and my wife. And it's like, yeah, a lot of our furniture was, like, made by him. And he's just, like, a super chill dude. He's always around. You can always talk to him about records. So I recommend that if you ever, like, want to get some furniture that's, like, for a weird spot that you need, like, certain dimensions for, or, like, you just want to go in and pick up, like, a weird thing for your coffee table.
That's great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Matt, this is a hard 7.
Should we read? Let's read.
Yeah.
And we'll
Okay,
be done.
okay.
Right.
We can close with a poem.
Okay. Some mornings I watch the river, the train's steel axles rumbling under my feet. They glide over her back like my hand on your spine, and there, quick, a pinhole-sized space opening, and now I can live it twice. Some mornings my neck slopes with the weight of things, and I miss it. Even the most hardy bud wilts on the vine when it forgets the water. In the wild tumble of my dreams, you and I are river rocks, carved over and over by current, always being born.
Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you. It's great.
I wanted to ask a
Good
question,
one
but
for-
I kind of like that being like the final words.
Yeah,
Cool.
we'll live with it. Yeah.
Thank you.
so
Thanks.
much.
Thanks for having me.
And we're the Quinobequin Review, and these are stories from your neighbors.
Mwah.
Yay.